Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. Today we're diving headfirst into a document that's older than most of your Twitter feeds but somehow manages to remain totally relevant: the US Constitution. Think of it like the instruction manual for how this whole country should run, except it was written way back when powdered wigs were still a thing. Now you might be thinking, John, the Constitution? Isn't that like super boring? And yeah, okay, parts of it can be a little dry, like trying to read a phone book written in cursive. But buried within those pages are the fundamental principles that shape our lives every single day. Our freedoms, our rights, even our Instagram arguments about the Electoral College. So buckle up, because in this video, we're breaking down some essential facts about the Constitution that every American citizen, and let's be real, anyone interested in understanding the US at all, should know. Let's get to it. First things first, what exactly the Constitution? In the simplest terms, it's the highest law in the United States. Think of it like that one friend we all have, who always gets their way. Whatever the Constitution says, goes. It's like the ultimate rule book, the one that all the other laws have to follow, no exceptions. And believe me, over the centuries, there have been plenty of people who've tried to find loopholes. So what is this all-powerful document actually? Well, for starters, it sets up the entire structure of the US government, just casually creating the three branches: executive, legislative, and judicial. We'll get into those more in another video. But more importantly, it outlines the basic rights of every single American citizen. We're talking freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to bear arms, all the good stuff that makes America, well, America. Now let's talk about those first three magical words: we the people. This isn't just some fancy, poetic intro, it's the core principle behind the whole shebang. The Founding Fathers were basically saying, look, this whole government thing, it's not some king's pet project anymore. It's powered by the people, for the people. And that's a pretty radical idea even today. It means that the government's authority doesn't come from some divine right or a magic sword. It comes directly from us, the citizens. Chapter 4, Amendments, Updating the User Agreement. Okay, so we've got this super important document, but what happens when times change? I mean, they didn't even have the internet when the Constitution was written. That's where amendments come in. Think of them like updates to your phone's operating system. They keep things running smoothly in a changing world. They're additions or changes made to the Constitution, and they're how we make sure that the document stays relevant and representative of our values. Because let's face it, society in the 1700s was different than it is now. Chapter 5, the Bill of Rights, your rights guaranteed. Now let's talk about the Bill of Rights, because honestly, it's the star of the show. These are the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, and they lay out some of our most fundamental rights as Americans. We're talking freedom of speech, freedom of religion, the right to bear arms, protection against unreasonable searches and seizures, the essentials. These amendments are basically the Constitution's way of saying these rights, they're non-negotiable. Chapter 6, the First Amendment, Speaking Your Truth. Let's zoom in on the First Amendment for a sec because it's kind of a big deal. This amendment is all about protecting your right to express yourself without fear of government censorship. We're talking freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of religion, the right to assemble peacefully, basically all the things that let you be you and speak your mind. It's the foundation of a free and open society, even when those opinions are about pineapple on pizza, which, for the record, is a crime against humanity. Chapter 7. So, how many amendments are we working with here? Well, as of today, the Constitution has a grand total of 27 amendments. That's right, just 27 updates in over 200 years. It's a testament to the Founding Fathers' foresight that they created a document flexible enough to adapt to changing times. I mean, can you imagine trying to get 27 amendments added to anything today? Congress can barely agree on what to have for lunch. Chapter 8. Now before we wrap things up, let's take a quick trip back in time to the Declaration of Independence. This isn't technically part of the Constitution, but it's like its cooler older sibling. This is the document where the Founding Fathers basically told King George III, "It's not me, it's you. We're out of here." It declared that the United States was a free and independent nation, no longer under British rule. Chapter 9. The Declaration of Independence is famous for a lot of reasons, but one of the big ones is its eloquent defense of inalienable rights. You know, the line life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These aren't just lofty ideals. They're the fundamental rights that the Declaration says all people possess simply by being human. It's a powerful statement that continues to inspire people around the world today. Let's talk about freedom of religion for a minute. This is a big one, guys. The First Amendment guarantees that you have the right to practice any religion you want, or no religion at all, without interference from the government. That means you can go to a synagogue, a mosque, a temple, a church, or you can hang out in your PJs on Sunday morning and contemplate the universe. It's entirely up to you. Ever wonder how the US economy works? Well, wonder no more. The United States operates under a capitalist economy, also known as a market economy. In a nutshell, this means that private individuals and businesses own most of the country's resources and production, and they get to decide how those resources are used. It's a system based on competition, innovation, and hopefully, some good old-fashioned hard work. Okay, last but not least, let's talk about the rule of law. This is a big one, folks. It's the idea that everyone, and I mean has to follow the law. It doesn't matter if you're the president, a celebrity, or just a regular person, no one gets a free pass. The rule of law is what keeps our society fair and just, and it's something we need to protect fiercely. And that's a wrap on our whirlwind tour of the US Constitution. We covered a lot of ground today, from the Bill of Rights to the rule of law. If you found this video even remotely interesting, do me a favor and give it a like, and hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel and lets me know you want to learn more about, well, everything. Stay tuned for our next video where we'll be diving even deeper into the branches of government and how this whole separation of powers thing is supposed to work. Until then, stay curious, my friends.